Hello, I'm Corey Wade, the director and founder of Berkeley Coding Academy, and I will be your instructor for the Machine Learning Masterclass. Welcome. First thing I want you to do is to open a new Colab window. You can do this by going into a Chrome web browser. Really, any web browser will do. And then I want you to type in colab.research.google.com. Colab is C-O-L-A-B. The link is provided below. However, I encourage you all to type it. Even though I'm going to provide the links for everything, I'm also going to show you how to access things directly. Now, when you do that, you'll see one of the following two windows. Either one like this one, where there's a new notebook option at the bottom that you may click on, or if I click behind here, there is a nice Welcome to Collaboratory notebook. I encourage you to go through this sometime on your own. As you can see, there's a little bit about data science and machine learning. It's really a great introduction that Google provides. And if you're on this screen, you can always do File and then New Notebook. So go ahead and do that now, and then you should be entering a new Collab notebook with a setup similar to this one. Now you see the cursor flashing. That is a Google Collaboratory cell, C-E-L-L, and it runs Python code. So you can put any Python you want in there. Let's all do some Python together. Just print out how you feel about this class getting started. I will say my true feelings, ML Masterclass with BCA will be awesome! Exclamation. Now to run a cell, press Shift Enter. Yes, you can press the play button, but better to just press Shift Enter. And then why? Because it's faster in the long run. The first cell takes a moment, and then they're pretty quick after that. So Collab notebooks are the norm in data science and machine learning. They're modeled off of Jupyter notebooks. And one nice thing they include, you can separate chunks of code with these text cells. So go ahead and enter a new text cell with me. You can see it's like its own. This is not Python code now when you're in this text cell. It's some type of HTML thing. So I can, for instance, title like the notebook. I can give it a header, like ML Masterclass Intro. And if I want to make it a header, by the way, my typing is on the left. The output you see on the right is what it'll look like. I can put in a hashtag. When I do the hashtag, you can see it's actually larger. So press Shift Enter. Two hashtags, by the way, is a subheader. And now, if I highlight it, I'm given these arrow options. This is also how you would comment on someone else's code. I can move it up to the top, and there's this nice arrow underneath. And what this does is it allows you to separate chunks of code. Okay? And this is very useful when you have big notebooks and you want to move to certain parts of it. Okay, so let's do something else. Let's add another text header. Let's do a little NumPy intro. NumPy is short for numerical Python. And go ahead, press Shift Enter to run the text cell. That'll get you into a new coding cell. Now, as far as the coding cell is concerned, let's go ahead and import NumPy. So I type in import NumPy. And as you can see, what I'm looking for, which is import NumPy as in P, is provided by Collab Notebooks as an option. So when you're typing and you see, hey, that's what I'm looking for, I encourage you to move the arrows or click there and press enter, because it will limit your errors and ensure that the code is as you intend it to be. So I go ahead and do that, press Shift Enter. Now, NumPy is short for numerical Python. You can do a lot with NumPy. We'll be using it in this course. So if I type in np dot, by the way, you should be doing this with me. We're always coding together because that's how you're going to learn. Then you can see there's just tons of options. And just to throw out a fun one, this is how you can get pi. Okay, so the value of pi. So press Shift Enter, and there you see the number of decimal places that Python in NumPy provides for pi. You can also use the math library for that. Now, you can run multiple lines of code in a cell, so let's just look at something a little more useful in terms of NumPy that you might do. let's say you have a list of primes, and perhaps the list is 2, 3, 5, and 7, could be longer, and I want to square all the elements in the list. Well, you'd like to be able to do something like this, primes to the second power, but if I press Shift Enter, you can see I get an error because you cannot square Python lists. You can, however, square NumPy arrays. So whenever you're looking to do mathematical operations on lists, you want to convert them into NumPy arrays. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. Okay, I'll erase this. And it's a little standard to call it np_array, so you know it's a NumPy array. Note that that certainly is not going to make it a NumPy array. That's just my variable name. It's what I do on the right side. So it's np, right, because I'm entering NumPy, and it's simply dot array. And inside of array, I want to put my list primes. That's going to convert primes to a NumPy array. So now if I square my new variable NumPy array primes, you could think of it as a list. It's like a list, but it's a NumPy array. And I can square it, and it should work. And you can see it does give the desired output of the squares of the first 4 primes. And do keep in mind that with Python, if you're ever in the middle of a program and you want to know, well, I don't know if this is a list or a NumPy array, you can always try the type keyword, put the element in question in parentheses. There I can see, hey, primes is a list. And if I put in type np array _ primes, press Shift Enter, I get a NumPy array, n-dimensional array. So just a couple other things about Colab. Title your notebooks. Don't leave 77 untitled as I have. We could call this something like, you want them to be referential. I don't know if you want to use ML master class every time. I may abbreviate MLMC because I need to have my own abbreviations. And then I'll call it a Collab NumPy intro. Okay. Now I don't like to make mine too long, but meaning the titles. But you want the names to be indicative so that later when you have a bunch of notebooks, you know like what they're actually doing. And for me, the MLMC would indicate that this is with my machine learning masterclass notebook. Okay, so that renames it. It will autosave. And in case you're wondering, where is it? Like, hey, I just did this, but how do I find it later? If you go into your Google Drive, you will find it there. You will see a folder of Collab notebooks. It's created for you if this is your first time, and each individual notebook will be stored in there. So you can get to your Google Drive by going to drive.google.com. And if you do not have a Google account and you want to take advantage of that wonderful feature, which I encourage you to do, simply sign up for a free account. Okay? So that is a quick little intro to you could say Colab that we're going to be using, along with a little bit of NumPy. And last thing, before you leave any notebooks, I always encourage runtime. We're going to do restart and run all. Now, run all is totally fine. I'll show you. I can just run all. It just keeps the count going. So this is now the 8th still that I've run. I like my counts to start from number 1. So I like to do restart and run all. And what this does is it ensures that the code runs top to bottom. Now, I'm provided with a warning here by Colab. Oh no, do you want to do this? Are you sure? All local variables will be lost. Well, look, if you haven't spent hours running code, which can happen with machine learning, certainly, then of course it's fine, right? This is a really fast notebook, so certainly yes, I'm willing to do that. Okay, there we have our first little intro. Again, if you want to get more familiar with Colab, go to collab.research.google.com. Click on the back. You get this cool welcome to Collaboratory. Great stuff there. Go through it. I'll pause there and see you in the next video.